Welcome back to Super Recaps. Today I will recap a historical war thriller movie from 2008 called Valkyrie, which is based on a true story. The movie is set during World War II, where Wehrmacht Colonel Klaus von Stauffenberg is on a mission in Tunisia, and he has suddenly started doubting Hitler's rule. He feels like Germany's future may be in danger because of Hitler. Soon, they get bombed by the American Air Force, which results in the death of most German soldiers and heavily injures Stauffenberg. Meanwhile, Hitler is meeting General Tresckow in the Eastern Front headquarters, where Tresckow has a secret plan to get rid of Hitler. With the help of his comrades, he hides a bomb in a wine bottle and gives it to Hitler's staff as a gift. When Hitler's plane departs, Tresckow eagerly waits for his death, but unfortunately, it turns out that the bomb didn't detonate, and Hitler safely landed in Berlin. Tresckow then also arrives in Berlin and sees General Friedrich Albrecht, who informs him that one of their resistance members, General Hans, has been exposed and arrested. So Tresckow tells him they need to find another person who can replace Hans's position in the resistance. On the other hand, Stauffenberg is recovering in a military hospital in Munich. He has been injured badly and has lost his right hand, left eye, and 2 fingers on his left hand. After he is fully recovered, General Albrecht comes to visit him and asks him to join the resistance. Stauffenberg agrees to join despite the risks of being a traitor because he wants to free Germany from Hitler's iron rule. Albrecht then takes him to meet the other members, which includes Tresckow, Field Marshal Erwin von Witzleben, General Ludwig Beck, and Dr. Karl Gordiller. They all start discussing different ways to bring down Hitler. Stauffenberg thinks that all their plans are weak because they aren't thinking of the future and about what will happen once Hitler is dead. He then has a private conversation with Tresckow, where he explains that even if they manage to assassinate Hitler, the SS will come after them as soon as they find out. Tresckow agrees with him and asks him to think of a better strategy. After that, Stauffenberg goes back to spend some time with his family. As he and his family hide in their basement to avoid the ongoing bombing, Stauffenberg suddenly has an idea. The following day, he goes to see Tresckow and explains his idea. Operation Valkyrie. Valkyrie consists of a reserve of army troops which Hitler plans to use in cases of national emergency, but Stauffenberg's plan is to deploy the troops after they assassinate Hitler and then arrest the SS by blaming the assassination. General Albrecht thinks this is a good plan. The only problem is that only the reserve army chief, Fromm, can order the deployment of the reserve troops. So, Stauffenberg and Albrecht go to meet Fromm and try to convince him by offering him a position as the head of Wehrmacht, yet Fromm refuses to get involved. However, he does agree to keep quiet about their plan. After that, Stauffenberg approaches Erich Feldjebel, a signal officer who controls the whole communication system between the army, and Stauffenberg manages to persuade him to work. He then goes to meet Tresckow and tells him that the plan is to take control of Berlin as all the other cities take orders. The military will then arrest the SS members and shut down all the concentration camps. Tresckow then reveals that he has been transferred up front, so Stauffenberg will now need to lead the operation in his place. And even though he doesn't like it, he agrees after some encouragement from Tresckow. Next, Stauffenberg goes to a typist and tells him to add another clause to Valkyrie's documentation, which is the reserve troops can now be deployed after Hitler's death. Once he is back in his office, General Albrecht tells him that he has been promoted to the chief of the reserve army to replace Hans. Stauffenberg wants to refuse the offer as he already has a lot on his plate, but he eventually agrees, as Albrecht persuades him by saying this position will give him direct access to Hitler. Albrecht also tells him that he needs to get the new Valkyrie documentation signed by Hitler for it to take effect. So on the 7th of July 1944, Stauffenberg and his assistant Haften go to Hitler's private residence to get the documents signed, and Hitler signs the documents without reading into them too much. After that, they attend a resistance meeting where they get informed about the bomb they'll be using to assassinate Hitler. The bomb should be very effective, as the meeting with Hitler will take place in an underground bunker, which will maximize the bomb's damage. Albrecht then asks what they should do in case the bomb fails to kill Hitler. Stauffenberg replies that they will have no choice but to move forward with Operation Valkyrie, and he also says that he will order Signal Officer Erich to cut off all communications after the explosion, so no one will know what's going on except while they go over the plan. Albrecht talks about Himmler, who is Hitler's right-hand man, and he tells Stauffenberg to place the bomb when Himmler is in the room as well. Once the meeting is over, Stauffenberg goes to see his wife and tells her to leave with their kids as things might get dangerous for them after Operation Valkyrie. It's now the 15th of July, the day they plan to kill Hitler. General Beck briefs all the resistance members about the plan. He tells them that once Hitler is assassinated, they will cut off all communication and use the reserve troops to take over Berlin. They will then convince all the military officials that the SS planned a coup and killed Hitler, which will then allow them to arrest all the Nazi Party members. Stauffenberg will be in charge of leading the army troops in Berlin, while General Beck will act as the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. After the briefing, he hands all the members identity cards, which they will need to show to enter the perimeter. Albrecht then mobilizes the reserve army, and as they start preparing, Stauffenberg travels to Wolf-Lair to meet Hitler. But when he arrives there, he realizes Himmler is not at the meeting, and because of that, General Beck orders him to stand down and not go ahead with their plan. Stauffenberg is upset as the meeting ends, and he has to go back without accomplishing anything. Back in Berlin, the reserve troops are also asked to retreat, and General Fromm warns Albrecht and Stauffenberg that he will have them arrested if they try to mobilize the reserve army again. On the 20th of July, Stauffenberg and his assistant go back to Wolf-Lair for another meeting with Hitler, but once they reach there, they are informed that the meeting will take place in an open barrack because of the warm weather, which means the bomb won't be as effective. During the meeting, Stauffenberg puts the briefcase with the bomb near Hitler, but when he leaves, one of the officers places the briefcase behind the table, unknowingly saving Hitler. As the bomb detonates, Stauffenberg believes that Hitler must be dead and heads back to Berlin. Erich finds out about the explosion and calls General Albrecht to tell him about it, but unfortunately, the general can't hear him. Erich proceeds with their plan and cuts off all communication. Meanwhile, in Berlin, General Kornheim tells Albrecht to mobilize the reserve troop, but Albrecht doesn't want to do it without confirmation of Hitler's death. So, once he leaves, Kornheim fakes his signature and issues the order. When Albrecht finds out about this, he is enraged and they start arguing. But their argument is cut short by Stauffenberg's call, who confirms Hitler's death and tells him to initiate the rest of their plan. After that, Albrecht informs all the officers about Hitler's death and convinces them that the SS has staged a coup. However, General Fromm is doubtful about this, and he makes a call to find out the truth. He gets told that Hitler survived the blast, but at that moment, Stauffenberg shows up and tells him that's not true, and it's just propaganda from the SS. Stauffenberg then goes to General Beck. Soon, the police chief also arrives and offers his full help. The rest of their plan is then set into motion, and they start taking over Berlin and order the rest of the SS members. Major Otto Ernst Römer of the reserve army goes to arrest the Nazi Party member Goebbels, but Goebbels hands him the phone where Hitler confirms that he survived and asks him to arrest all the traitors. Major Römer realizes that the reservation army has been fooled and orders the release of all the Nazi Party members. Back in the office, General Fromm believes Hitler is alive and calls Stauffenberg a traitor, but Stauffenberg just orders the resistance members to arrest him. Soon, the rest of the reservation army is ordered to retreat, and the resistance group hears the news of Hitler's survival on the radio. Realizing that they will be arrested soon, Stauffenberg asks everyone to escape, but it's too late, and they all get captured. To save himself, General Fromm initiates a court-martial right then and orders Beck's arrest, while Kornheim, Albrecht, Haften, and Stauffenberg are sentenced to death, and the rest are hanged to death after a public trial. As the movie comes to an end, the text on the screen reveals that out of the 15 assassination attempts on Hitler, this was the last one before he killed himself after being surrounded in Berlin. Thanks for watching. To support the channel, make sure to subscribe and hit the like button and press the bell icon to get new video updates.